I'm joined by a National Party member. He's the member for Flynn, Colin Boyce. Colin, thanks for your time. I know you've been critical of the split, the coalition split. Can you explain to our viewers why is this damaging to your party, the Nationals?
Well, in my humble opinion, the National Party is committing political suicide by removing itself from the coalition. The National Party now faces a right flank onslaught from One Nation. If they go it alone to the next election, they won't have any resources, they won't have any travel entitlements, money will be extremely difficult to raise, they will not have all of those devoted staff that they've had for years, and things will be extremely difficult.
And we're starting to see already that shift by Barnaby Joyce. It's having an effect already in those numbers for One Nation. You'd be feeling it more than anyone up in your part of the world.
Oh, absolutely, and there is a huge surge up here. There's lots of people say to me, you know, you should join One Nation and so forth. That's not happening for me. I am a member of the LNP. I am obligated to do the best I can for the LNP and indeed the National Party in Canberra.
So in terms of the options for reuniting now, is that what you believe should happen? And if so, how should it happen?
Yeah. Well, so that's absolutely right, Kieran, and we do have to get this coalition back together again. It's a bit like trying to weld square pipe to round pipe, and that is why I'll announce to you right here today, you heard it first, I will be moving a spill motion on Monday afternoon in the National Party room to give my colleagues an option, because the reality is if they follow the course they're on now, we are going over the political cliff.
And in terms of spilling the leadership, you don't believe David Littleproud, his performance has been up to scratch? Is that the motivation, and who should replace him?
Oh, 100%. So I will be standing for the leadership. David has made some bad decisions recently. He's upset just about everybody you can possibly upset, including you.
So when you say you're going to put your hand up, you want to have the leadership of the National Party into what will you do? Will you set a new front bench that won't include those that recently quit in order to win the support of the Liberals to get that coalition back on track?
That's obviously what will happen. Obviously, Susan Lee has left the door open. She's on the record. The door is open to re-establish that coalition, and I believe that that is what we should do. I think it is the most viable way forward for the National Party, for the Liberal Party, and for wider Conservative politics.
So we've got the breaking news from Colin Boyce today that you are going to move a spill, you're going to run for the leadership. And I guess in terms of a front bench team, there are some others who you could call upon that weren't a part of the front bench, the likes of McCormack, Canavan, among others.
That's correct. And if you have a look at the backbench people there, there is actually quite an amount of experience there. We have Alison Penfold, who's been a Chief of Staff, David Batt, who's spent a term in state politics, Canavan, as you say, McCormack was a Deputy Prime Minister. So there is some reasonable talent there, and if we can move forward, use that talent, the rest of the colleagues will just have to sit on the backbench, and we shall let some water go under the bridge, re-establish the coalition with the Liberal Party and move forward.
Did it frustrate you that option, Colin, wasn't considered when the leadership and the National Party walked away from the coalition last week? That they didn't consider?
Oh, absolutely.
Refreshing the whole lineup potentially.
Well, that was an option that they could have taken, but I believe it wasn't even considered. And for me, the best way forward is to maintain this coalition. I'm not going to be ringing people up and canvassing them for votes. It's up to my colleagues to have a careful think about where they think they're going in the future. If they want to be part of the shadow cabinet, all well and good. I understand that. If that's what they choose to do, that's okay. But for me, that's not an option.
You know, for our viewers who don't know you, and I don't expect you to go chapter and verse through your CV, but you have a big focus on agriculture. Your experience does extend much further than that over the years, through business and also through your trade. This, if you know, a quick snapshot for our viewers who might know you, not from your part of Queensland. You do bring a bit of, world experience to the table, Colin Boyce.
Oh, absolutely. I spent a deal of time in the gas industry as a high-pressure pipe welder. I've been an earth-moving contractor most of my life. I dug the test pit for Extrata at one of the world's largest coal deposits. I'm a successful businessman for whatever it is. I've spent nearly 10 years in politics in the state of Queensland as a local government councillor and now as a federal parliamentarian.
You've had One Nation, and you've told our viewers today they've been, others have been saying you should join One Nation. I'm sure One Nation have made approaches to you as well, because you did get a swing to you in the last election, incidentally, while the tide was going out. In terms of One Nation, though, you're saying that's not for you. You want to try and heal the coalition and do your best to do that.
Look, I have an enormous respect for Pauline Hanson and indeed for James Ashby, who's a very good political operator. But the reality is winning a lower house seat is extremely difficult. And, why doesn't Pauline run for a lower house seat? Why doesn't Barnaby Joyce run for a lower house seat? And I can answer you that because it's a lot easier to win a Senate seat than it is a lower house seat. So whilst the polling is very good for One Nation, that's yet to be converted into lower house seats.
And do you think, first of all, before I ask you the next question, on One Nation, that's not for you. You're a member of the lower house, you're the member for Flynn, and you're going to stick with the LNP and the Nats?
That's what I'm doing. That's my first priority.
And does that mean you rule out a One Nation tilt at any point? Say if your colleagues don't listen to your warning here?
That remains to be seen, and I'm quite sure that my colleagues will be ringing me on the phone and asking me to explain myself. We'll see how that pans out over the next 3 or 4 days until we get down to Canberra on Monday.
Yep, I reckon your phone might be running off the hook as we speak. But you said you haven't canvassed anyone.
Correct.
Before you've joined me today. So you haven't canvassed anyone before. Did you have any soundings with colleagues, or you just made the call? I'm going to go on Sky News today and I'm going to call this spill.
Oh, look, we've all got our advisors and mentors, and I do have some, and they are extremely experienced people in the political world, and I've run all this by them, and I've had their approval. Okay,
well, I look forward to seeing what happens next week, and we'll chat to you. Hopefully we can chat to you next week when you're in Canberra, maybe as leader of the National Party, who knows. Thanks for your time, and thanks for bringing that exclusive to our viewers. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Kieran.
Member for Flynn, Colin Boyce there. What a story, eh? The National Party leadership, there's going to be a spill moved by him on Monday. He's going to run for the leadership. He believes that the current leadership have failed, that there needs to be a refresh of the front bench, and importantly, he's not giving up on the coalition. just yet. But he didn't rule out One Nation if they don't listen to him. But his first priority is to get that National Party and the coalition healed. That's his view. Let's see what happens over the coming days. But big story there from Colin Boyce here on Sky News today.